Hello.
That sounds
Yes, then I'm ready. Do you still have some energy left for me? Can you give me a scream if you have some energy? I love that. Hello, everybody, and I'm just so happy to be here tonight. I'm happy to see a couple of people who left their homes just to come and see me, and my soon-to-be friends, Klink, perform on this stage tonight. So, I have a story that reads like a poem. And usually my stories are quite funny, and I'm not bragging, you can check on YouTube. But unfortunately, tonight, my story is not going to be funny. Why? Because in this story, I'm not the victim. I'm the perpetrator, the villain. Once upon a time, that's very old school, I met a little butterfly, and I named her Little Bee. We met, actually, I'm not sure if it was a she or a he, but because in most scenarios, men are the villains. In this case, admittedly, and women are the angels. In this case, Little Bee. So her name was Little Bee. And I don't mean bee as in, you get what I mean. I promise not to swear on the stage tonight. We met at the park, and our energies instantly matched. We had the same aspirations and interests. Just as me, she loved the soothing scent of nature, the sounds of leaves blown by the breeze, and finally, beautiful stories, just like this one. When we met that very first day, she brushed my cheek with her soft wings that smelled the scent of tuberose flowers. And then she hovered around my entire body to express her delight. And I looked at her in amazement, thinking, what a beautiful butterfly. And soon we became friends, and then very good friends, and then best friends. I felt like a priority. You know what that feels like, right? I was her priority. Because, for example, one day, I woke up with a harsh headache, shivering and feeling intensely. I was intensely frozen from the inside. I was feeling extremely downcast. And that same day, I was scheduled to perform on a very important stage. But I wasn't feeling like it anymore. While I had prepared for it for many months, here was I now, lying on my couch, weak like a leaf dipped in hot water. And it dawned on me that I could whisper, Little Bee. And she stomped into my room, flying at full speed. What's going on? Sorry, but I can't make it tonight. I'm feeling very bad. No way. I'm going to stay here with you until you get better and you get on that stage and show them what you can do. But you can't stay here. You have to go on a trip tonight with your family. I don't care. I care about you right now. And while she was saying that, she was hovering above my head. And I looked at her and smiled. But you can't stay here, I said. And she said, no, you are my priority tonight. And she kept hovering around my body and told me, you've done this before, so you can do this again. And so I stood up Yes, I've done this before, so I am going to do this again. I tried to summon the last bits of strength gathered in me, and I showed up on that stage, and the result was just marvelous. I remember it was a golden moment, thanks to my dear friend, Little B. But I failed to realize that it was a golden moment. I failed to realize that Little B was just being an exemplary friend. You know why? Because I was entrapped in my egoic delusion. Here comes the villain I was talking about. A week later, she had decided to rebook her trip with her family because she wasn't able to attend the last time. She had decided to stay with me until I was in good shape. She had to leave in a couple of days. And then my worries began. What if you forget about me? I asked. What if you never come back? What if you find more interesting friends? And what if you leave me? One must admit that I was a bit drama queen, but okay, it's all right. And she said, that is never going to happen. But I didn't believe her. 3 weeks went by, and I was feeling extremely saddened by her absence. I missed her. We were to meet the following day, and I was quite excited. I went back to the park, and she wasn't there yet. 15 minutes, no show. Then 20 minutes, Little B isn't there. Then 25 minutes, oh, Little B, maybe she's found more interesting friends, I thought. Then 30 minutes, and then my anger grew more and more intense. I gave up, and while I was about to leave, I saw Little B arriving, flying limply as if she had broken a wing. You're always late, I said. Always? Yes. Sorry, but I had an issue with my wing. When it comes to me, you always have excuses, never mind. But she didn't argue. Instead, she pointed at the blossoming flowers in order to steal a smile from my face. And she tried to apologize. But I pretended not to care. I complained about the cold air. And I forced myself to believe that I didn't need her. That was another moment of being drama queen. And then at some point I decided to pay attention. I turned around and I looked on the ground. I saw a wing on the ground. And then I turned around in the air to look for Little B. I looked into the flowers. I looked into the grass. I looked into the trees. And I screamed, Little B! But she wasn't there anymore. And I picked the wing. It was actually nice. On the ground. And it was her left wing she had been complaining about. Little B wasn't there anymore. I can't believe it. Little B wasn't there anymore. I failed at being an exemplary friend. And that was the last time Little B and I met. And so I have a question, just to set back the mood in the room. Does any one of you have a Little B in your life? A friend? Okay, can you give a scream if you have a Little B in your life? A very good friend in your life? can understand. So usually stories are meant to have a happy ending, but this one isn't about a happy ending. It's about the painful understanding that sometimes we realize that what we've longed for was always there, but we see that when it's already gone. So don't be a villain like me, and take care of your little bees, please. Thank you very much.
That was really nice. Please come back to the stage again in the future. Not